ahead of them is to win 3 straight games. It has been done before, but it is a very big mountain. We've changed things up at the panel once more. We've got Jack back with us, so we've got Captain Jack.
Arr, Captain Jack.
Captain Jack. I'm going to keep doing it until the crowd get it. Captain Jack.
Crowd, please laugh for Paul. Thank you.
Well, that was more than a laugh. That works real well.
Anyway,
you're welcome.
My joke's falling as badly as they do. Dad jokes never work anyway on a show. Going through it, Jack, these boys are in trouble. Your boys are in trouble. You tried jinxing it. You tried doing the reverse caster curse thing. That hasn't worked, Jack. What are you going to do to mix things up?
I guess I'm just going to have to outright support him now. Maybe that'll do something.
Yeah. That's the alternative.
I mean, you need to, because I'll tell you right now, Jack, there is not a whole lot of love for VG.J Thunder on this side of the desk right now. So
yeah,
you got to be the boost.
They knew it would be obviously a tough series, a really strong opponent right now. I think some of what they did in Game 1 in terms of the draft, keeping some of these abusive heroes out of the hands of Roger. I think Chen and Enchantress, they have to keep those heroes out of the lineup because they can just totally run over a lane. They're not heroes that VG.J Thunder play. So it just completely wipes out that lane for them, and after that, they don't have a game anymore. Naga is something else that also isn't really part of their recent kit. I think they need to keep that hero out as well. Once you start giving up these heroes, your lanes collapse. VP can really pick you apart, like just pick their spots and have the Naga as a reset. I don't think that Thunder wants to get into that kind of game if they want a chance to win.
Okay, I mean, they've got to do something different now, haven't they? Did they go back to the way that they were playing earlier on? Because they seem to have been forced, as Toby pointed out in the last panel, they seem to be forced to reacting to Virtus Pro more now, rather than actually doing what they were doing in the semi-finals so well.
Yeah, there's always going to be, well, Virtus Pro has switched up their picks a little bit too. I think they've shown that confidence and flexibility very well. Like, you can always say like who's been forced to blink in a series, who has to really adjust their picks or go away from their comfort zone. I mean, VP has just blasted them both games, even with things that we haven't seen from them this tournament.
Yeah, we said Liquid were the ones to blink earlier, right? I would say in their series up against VP. Here, I think VG.J is definitely, I mean, you were looking at that second draft, right? It was like, I did not feel like that was anything in VG.J Thunder's wheelhouse that they had been showing so far in this tournament. So it definitely felt like they were being forced into a bit of difference here. Interesting, Virtus Pro did have priority this time around. They actually chose Radiant, and so VG.J Thunder are going to be able to get a repeat game here on first pick, so we'll be able to see whatever adjustments they're going to be making going into this one. Maybe this time around they leave out the Sand King, or perhaps they feel like it's time to take the Death Prophet Nightstalker duo, if that's going to be left out available to them. Definitely seems like VP have that planned out, the fact that they're just leaving that duo open to VG.J Thunder, despite them opening quite strong in this tournament in the group stage with that duo twice.
Yeah, they'll usually just respond with the AA. It's also worth pointing out, I think Virtus Pro has been on Radiant both games. I mean, traditionally, like you said, VG.J Thunder has, if you're playing Dire, you have like the 2 triangular areas where you have the high ground on the camps. But what does Radiant offer? So for one, Radiant generally has a better time contesting or taking Roshan. Your ramp leading down into Rosh is a little bit better. Also, you usually play on the enemies, inside the enemy's jungle once you've taken that very exposed and far away safe lane tower. So when that happens, if you're Radiant playing in the Dire jungle, you're just closer to Rosh than Dire are. So like those things almost haven't mattered, but there are advantages now that seem more pronounced for Radiant. I've heard people say before, pro players say before, that Radiant mid felt a little bit more exposed and easier to gank, but that is also no longer the case due to recent changes. So it feels like Radiant is an advantage that some teams feel.
Yeah, the fact that the Dire side now you're able to wrap around in front on the right-hand side in front of the tower. Where that was an impossibility. They aren't going to pick up the Death Prophet first this time around. I anticipate Virtus Pro are going to respond, as you said, with the Ancient Apparition, and then maybe Tusk or something. Or Tiny against TP works kind of well too. And then VG.J Thunder will maybe pick up their Nightstalker and do that kind of dual lane mid that we saw earlier, where at 4 minutes the Nightstalker leaves. Nope, it's Disruptor.
Disruptor, yeah. Featured in both the previous 2 games as well.
It's probably better anyway. Yeah, Nightstalker kind of feeds on Ancient Apparition, but his control and silence does nothing against a Tiny just because of the status resistance. So, again, the Disruptor.
Yeah, AA, of course, aside from kind of discouraging or countering some of these heroes with heal and sustain, is also probably the only 5 in the game that gives you that kind of global reach as well. So when VP do take these skirmishes, this is a hero obviously that can contribute from very far away. Combos very well with these kind of burst heroes like the Tiny as well. And of course, the Tiny, we've seen no one play it. We saw Pasha play it earlier this series. You can put it in the safe lane as well. You want that early core pick where you don't know where it's going to go, and so you can't set your draft too much if you're VG. But they're sticking with what they're comfortable with in these first 2 picks. And I would expect this game, with the Death Prophet in their hands, to go at least very differently than the previous 2.
I wonder if they're willing to pick up the Luna again because they're on this Dire side, which I think is a little bit more favorable for the Luna because the triangle Dire side farm, very safe area to hang around. And I'm betting VP won't feel like they need to ban it away just because of the fact that they already have this Tiny. It matched up really well against the Luna last time around, and Juggernaut is still out in the pool. See if VG.J Thunder ban it, though.
10 seconds remaining.
I think that Viper is kind of destructive.
I think if they could also still go Medusa as well. It's out here, but they might feel that's a little bit too slow. I think they moved away from that a little bit in the last few days.
Are you surprised we haven't seen a ban on that Enchantress? Or do you feel like it was more situational in that last game?
I think it's a little bit better this time around, just because Death Prophet can handle the Enchantress better than DK or Terrorblade can. You've got Yules to dodge some of the incoming damage. You get nice and close to heroes. That's what you like to be able to do. You've got magic damage. Exorcism isn't affected by the passive of Enchantress. So Nyx, VP have actually done a number of Nyx Assassins against Death Prophet. They feel like is a 4 position. It deals pretty nicely, threatening a 2 position core. It's always a pretty feel-good draft trade-off when you're able to get a support that counters a core.
A lot of possibilities and options for them. One thing that we haven't seen, that we saw from VP a lot in the past, less now, is something like the Sniper. This is kind of seen as a potential counter to the Death Prophet in some ways. If you don't get gap close, it's a hero that also is played very aggressively by Virtus Pro. When you're the 4th or 5th hero to show up to the fight, which is how they often play it, it's not even about the scaling late game. It's just about the pressure that they can apply on lanes. It's fallen out of favor this patch, though. We haven't seen much of it.
So this time around, VG.J Thunder did actually leave out the Bat Rider, which was a curiosity for me, them banning it against VP, because I didn't feel like that hero was all that prevalent this tournament. I don't think any other teams really felt like they needed to ban Bat Rider against VP either. So maybe that's a bit of scrim information or something.
Yeah, Virtus Pro have used the Sniper twice since the International.
Actually, it's probably information for themselves, right? That was what VG Gaming always did. Death Prophet was on the side of VP, and they always liked being able to run with the Bat Rider Death Prophet duo. So maybe that's just more information about the Chinese scene than anything else. Tusk for VG.J Thunder was immediately the support that I thought of when just a nice protecting hero for the Death Prophet and combos really well with the Ice Shards and the Spirit Siphon.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you didn't say with the Thunder draft so far, it's basically the signature heroes for all 3 players. Except maybe the Earth Spirit would be for Fade. So again, sticking with their game plan, sticking to their guns.
Well, EG is not in the finals, so I do believe that EG is still not top tier.
I was reading the Pick Punch sign instead. And I'm definitely was stupid.
Still like to go back to the Juggernaut. Maybe a Lifestealer, though might be a little bit too susceptible to Kite here. You could always do the no one mid Tiny and like Nagasar and off lanes. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they want those 2 melee cores. They didn't ban the Tide to protect it. They didn't ban the Medusa. I think that still might expose them potentially a little bit in lane.
You do want a protecting here on the side of VG.J Thunder, right? From your offlaner, one of those kind of just offlane bully types.
Yeah, a lot of possibilities. I think they could go back for something like an Underlord.
Yeah, that's what I was
If
thinking
we're
about
sticking
too.
in the theme of like playing what they're most comfortable with.
Oh. So we saw this before in the group stage where I can't remember who. Somebody tried to pick Centaur against Death Prophet. Well, I wasn't. It was like Spirit Siphon has real good value against Centaur, but
I think it was an Optic game.
maybe.
Did they not run
Maybe that's how they beat
it?
VP.
Yeah. VP haven't run this, by the way, since TI7.
Wow. But I think the concept is it's more about, first of all, you're able to kite away from the exorcism, which I think is vitally important, something that TNC showed in their early matchup, that they were able to kite Death Prophets, force exorcism usages, and then stay away from those team fights. And then on top of that, it provides a lot of burst damage. And there's that combination. VG.J Thunder, we were talking about in VG Gaming with running it at Katowice.
Yeah. It was last time Virtus Pro played it was at TI7, where they played LFY. They lost in 15 minutes and 39 seconds.
Well then. And it is the Lifestealer band fight VP.
10 seconds.
It's here to punish the lanes. It's a bit different from what we've seen. We've seen, again, talking about comfort level, Yang has played a little bit from what he's been successful with this tournament. This is another case of kind of more of a tempo hero for him, instead of the kind of team fighter that we've seen him run. And I mean, all three of the cores on VG Thunder are very aggressive players. Free's known for this, Yang definitely known for this, and sometimes in Sylar as well with like the rapier purchases, the going in, the joke yesterday about how he held his teammates from taking a bad fight, which we were discussing at dinner, by popping his BKB by accident. That's like they're known for being very aggressive cores. This is something that they get in trouble with sometimes. Yang may go in a bit ahead of his teammates or at bad times. So there's a bit of impatience as we saw in some of their games as well throughout on their road here to the finals.
Yeah, I didn't feel like, and their previous roster was really uncoordinated as well back when they had Aggressive, and I feel like there's still some issues with that for the Thunder team. One interesting thing to note here is that VG.J Thunder can still run the side lane Death Prophet. We can have a different mid picked up, but a Luna Classic. I don't know. I really thought they were going to stray away from the Luna this time around. It felt like the really obvious pick that Thunder has been picking up time and time again, but they've already been defeated once with this Luna against a Tiny, and this time around you do have a Centaur as well as an Ancient Apparition. We saw the way that these combinations just run around the map and kill these farming heroes that like to be able to hang out in the jungle. They've been ganked over and over and over again, so I can't believe they're actually picking up something that is so susceptible to that kind of ganking power.
Yeah, and this is a hero that we see often banned late in the drafts against Virtus Pro. They do not have this in their toolkit, do not want to get cheesed by this. Their lineup is a lot faster. I do like that aspect of the Thunder draft, but I'm not sure if they have an answer for this Brood. Again, if the lanes collapse, none of that stuff matters.
Okay, just a little bit of history here, because the last time they played the Brood was against VG Gaming at Katowice, and they lost with it. They don't lose a huge amount of Brood games, so maybe that's a good sign for VG.J this time around.
Well, I know I said I was going to say a repeat of Katowice, and this is potentially a repeat where the one game they're going to lose is with the Brood Mother, but I'm actually going to upgrade my prediction 3-0 for VP. They're going to close out this series.
Wow. Very decisive, Cap. I like that. Jack?
The Jinx is not working. I'm going to go with my boys VG.J Thunder. I think they'll take a game back here in this series.
Okay. We finally got him to say it. He's finally supported his own team. As you can see, the analyst predictions on screen right now. VG.J for Jack, and Capitalist has gone for Virtus Pro. So they've made their minds up. I'm pretty sure the crowd have made their minds up, but none of us get to make our decision. It's only in the booths where it counts. Let's head back to our commentary team for game number 3. Can Virtus Pro close out another major championship? Let's find out.
I don't know about you, but this is the first draft I've seen in this series where I actually believe in VG.J as well. Purge, what do you think?
I think they have some potential good stuff going for them. On the other side of the board, VP's carry is basically a Tiny, maybe a Brood. Brood doesn't have the best late game. Tiny can sometimes fall off too. So maybe if VG.J gets later game stages, I could see them having a nice advantage there. Yeah.
Yep. For the first time, I actually look at it and go, you know what? The Luna didn't have enough space before. She got shut down so heavily. Now, potentially, you can create space. You have VG.J who can have initiators for once. Tuskar as well as Batrider. Batrider with a flying vision. Track down the Brood Mother. This isn't just one of these straight 5th pick Broods where you're like, I'm not going to be countered. Ramses will have a hard time in this game. There are many heroes that can clean up his Spiderlings. It's just then the question, how's the rest of the team work? Like, we can look at the Tiny who was prioritized in banning phase. What is his role in this matchup?
It's murdering people with help from A, which is going to work really well. That's definitely the one thing on VP side that kind of stands out to me as a big threat against VG.J Thunder. is that if they do an avalanche toss on somebody, drop a Ice Vortex on top of that, you're going to see a lot of dead heroes. So a fast Blink Dagger on no one with VP solo being around with Ice Blast means someone will die, unless there's a Snowball in time. So I guess against the Brood, I don't necessarily agree that there are a lot of solutions against him. Like, they do have some AoEs, and yes, like Batrider can do AoE damage, and Tusk can spread the spiders out, but they can't really stop the spiders from running at people very well. Maybe kinetic field even work when there's a web up, I'm not sure. But I think Tusk basically has to sit mid, and he has to try to zone the Brood for as long as he can to try to give the Death Prophet a really good start. And if that works out, yeah, things will go okay, but I still have a lot of faith in Ramsey snowballing afterwards.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if it's going to happen as the lanes start to settle down. As VG.J, they will be having Sylar up on the top lane as that Luna. He'll be supported by DDC. He'll be up against the Centaur of Pasha going off lane. Ramses will then head towards the mid as the Broodmother. He'll be working with Roger to begin with, who's the roaming ES. And then Yang into the mid lane as the Batrider. And then down at the bottom, no one. Working with Ancient Apparition solo, and Freeze and Fade will be the last two on that bottom lane.
So Centaur is a hero that I'm not super confident with, but I think it's actually pretty good this game. Just because they can use him to initiate on some of these team fight heroes, the heroes that are going to make a difference. DDC getting got
rolling
on top.
Boulder, going to go top. Hoof Stomp leveled up as first ability. Sunsfan will be impressed as DDC is dropping down low in the trees. Roger will spill the first blood. They want to keep the pressure on Sylar. And with that Orb of Venom, Sylar has to stand close and take it.
Hoof Stomp is a very good ability. He does have some mana problems in the laning
Going
stage.
again. The rolling boulder, another Hoof Stomp. Rinse, repeat. This time it's on the other hero of the top lane.
Its mana cost is really high, but it does 100 damage and stuns for 2 seconds. So if you have 2 heroes right-clicking at this in this situation, it's just such a big advantage. But Luna as well as the Disruptor cannot really defend themselves at level 1. It just can't happen. So these fast 2 quick kills are going to be hugely influential, especially if Pasha can get a fast Tranquil Boots, maybe even a Vanguard, who knows.
There was a small moment too where Fade and Freeze could have comboed together, but no points in Spirit Siphon at level 1. He went Crypt Swarm level 1 instead against no one. So when they got the Shard block in, no one could just walk out of it and then back around to his tower. So Virtus Pro, currently happy with the way everything is going in the lanes, apart from maybe the 10 CS on the Luna, even though they got the kill on that lane. Fade. As Cold Feet, he can easily run it off.
I think they're fairly happy with what's happening right now. Just give Tiny some levels. As long as Solo doesn't end up dying, everything will be okay. And eventually Ramsey should be able to get a kill on Batrider. Once Firefly runs out, he can just dive. So Yang's got to be very careful once this Firefly runs out.
Yeah. You may also just be pushing the lane out because you've got the bottle coming out in the courier. So expend everything you've got before the regeneration.
That's a good idea. But he is vulnerable now, and here comes... Oh, he's going for the TP. I don't think it's going to work.
Yang. Oh. What? You knew it was going to wear out. He didn't back up. The bottle actually ended up getting sent back before he even died.
I mean, at least if he ran for it, he would have had a running chance, perhaps. But that was kind of just accepting death there. I really don't think he expected to get killed so fast. Doesn't have enough money for a TP, so he's slowly walking back to the mid lane. And Ramses gets the regen rune. Like, not a good situation in the mid lane.
Things just escalate quickly when this starts to happen. When Broodmother gets more top lane, the rolling boulder, as well as kick, Sylar. And he's having to burn through so many consumables to stay alive on this top. Pasha didn't even properly commit himself. He was holding on to his Hoof Stomp and Double Edge.
Yeah, you don't want to burn double edges when it's not going to succeed in a kill usually. At least until you get enough regen that you'll be able to make it back up. So he's going to go Soul Ring first actually. This is kind of a good solution. I know one thing Sunsfan was talking about backstage, that Hoof Stomp is too expensive mana-wise, but this is a strength item that gives you HP regen. That's exactly what Centaur needs.
Roger's making his way into the mid lane. Yang's already been really pressured heavily, and yeah, you're right, with the shards block in, the snowball, they're able to get the stun, then Fade, low on life, a body block from Freeze, keeping no one away. He's got tossed in a couple of seconds time, enough one charges to use it. Yang will die in the meantime in the mid lane. That was that rotation of Roger we were watching before. It was just waiting to work with Ramses.
It actually looked like Solo was going to die in that bot fight. The Tiny combo comes in and throws him, but very nicely played by Fade. He pulls him into the snowball before the damage is dealt, so then they got to turn that around, and body blocking secures the kill without a death. But Ramses is just stomping mid now. 2 kills, 28 last hits at 4 minutes. This is not where you want to be. And basically the only solution Batrider has is using Firefly when he does get pressured. But that's not up all the time. So now Ramsey just gets a free lane.
Yep. And Ramsey will start to melt down the towers. He'll start to take over the areas, which we're currently watching Yang farming at the moment. Like, how is this meant to be stopped? Originally, we thought it was going to be the Tusker. We thought that there should be some kind of pressure on Ramses, but there was none.
It's just the last pick Brood here was just so solid. Gave him a really good matchup on all cases, basically. And Death Prophet doesn't want to lane against it because she's worried about dying. And she definitely
rolling
needs
boulder.
levels.
They're going in again on Yang. This is going from bad to worse to disastrous.
Wow, look at the wards. They're so smart. Just wards constantly surrounding the mid lane in all places. That way they know exactly where Batrider is. And then because they place it behind the tier 2 tower, that means they see the Batrider approaching and they get to set up that gank ahead of time.
And then they rotate towards the bottom lane. Their own observer wards know that Fade as well as Freeze didn't move off the lane. Fade wants to initiate onto No One. No One has 9-1 charges and the Shards don't block him in. So Roger can go to work. They want to kill off Freeze. He's primary target. Fade, snowball protection, comes once more. Rolling boulders towards Solo, but then you got the better one from Roger. Hitting into Freeze. Solo will go down as Sylar has joined the fight. At level 3 Lucent Beam getting the rebuttal kill onto the Ancient Apparition. Roger might be the same kind of hurt. The Shards hold him in, and Sylar will get a double kill with a rotate to bot lane.
Super good rotation there.
But Batrider's about to die. Nope, no, Batrider's about to burn his 40-second cooldown Firefly.
Yeah, he's safe, dude. At least he can spread the spiders out. They won't be able to attack as fast that way, but Ramses can still kill the creep wave.
They're fighting bottom. Avalanche toss from No One in the trees. Roger's had to keep the extra control, and VG.J thought winning one engagement with VP was like winning a war, but that is never the case.
And the cool thing about what No One's doing this game is maxing out Avalanche. It may seem a little weird because the cooldown's much higher, but the damage that gets amplified is actually the Avalanche damage, so you can basically just one-shot people right now.
Okay, you're 6 minutes into the game, Ramses. 6 minutes. Just remember this. 6 minutes, you've only cracked level 7. I say only level 7. And he's actually brought both Sylar and Yang to the mid lane to defend.
He's got a medallion already. Like, these heroes don't even have 7 armor to begin with.
And watch this poor moment. Like, really, are we rubbing this much salt in the wound? We're looking for highlight clips. We can potentially come back live right now as Rolling Boulder kick into Sylar, forces Fade to TP. And they really are having a lot of fun. Fade, he's actually in a world of hurt. The Spiraling's doing too much damage. They had the silence as well. I don't know if we're now just watching this with audio casting and just the live reactions from Virtus Pro. Pasha getting glimpsed up on the top lane. Freeze thinks about having a go, but Pasha just TP taunts his way off the top lane. You are 7 minutes into this game and the tier 3 tower has already had a nibble.
It is so hard to defend against this. It's going to be a long time till any hero on VG.J is prepared to stop these kills. Like, they just need an AoE stun or something to stop the chasing, but they got nothing.
Ramses is nearby. He can drop an extra web if he wants to.
But
they're actually rotating bottom to try and fight, but Roger's in the tree. Sylar, the second he shows himself, will die. There is nothing that will prevent this. The cold feet, the snap, the kicks, the toss around, actually dodging Roger's stun. And Roger, okay, he's a little bit off target. They turn on the Eclipse. No One cops most of it, but still alive, tosses the tree. It will be a bit of a trade-off with Tiny going down. He's worth a hell of a lot more than the rest of VG.J is. But meanwhile in mid lane, Ramses is just forever knocking on the door, hoping to sell you something.
And he killed the Tusk in the meantime. Found him near the old secret shop, near the fountain, or the shrine that is.
Oh, Yang.
And another find.
Oh, he doesn't care. He doesn't care.
Let the
He's so
spiders die.
strong right now. The spiders don't even die. They're going to regenerate up inside of the web.
Man, it's incredible. It's very tanky spiders right now. He's almost got his Deso finished, which means hitting buildings is going to be even easier. They've got no Eclipse, so even killing Ramses is difficult. I don't even think it's worth Lucent beaming him here.
This actually feels more brutal than 27-0. Like, this is...
It does.
This is beyond punishment. VG.J could not shut Ramses down early, and we're going to... Okay, really? Really? Okay, the next highlight clips will just be a series of Ramses murdering people solo.
They all look the same, right? They just actually can't do anything to defend against it, and he just runs them down. They're farming in front of their tier 3. It's pretty safe here at the 8-minute mark. It's not too far to run to safety.
8-minute mark, a full Desolator on the Broodmother now. Just
This one, minus armor gets the scariest too. When everybody's armor is close to 0, you're doing more damage.
Silent Fade. Who wants to get away from this one? Go Spiders! We don't need no hero. Let the Spider army kill. Fade, defense, death. And
they're gonna
trouble
Ramses
as
out.
well. Ramses, finally the streak is ended by VG.J Thunder. They fight back. Death to the Broodmother.
Decent gold swing there, about 1,000. Still losing the tusk. He's kind of the sacrificial
They're going
lamb.
for more Stampede. They're initiating onto Sylar. He's able to get the Lucid Beam off. Yang's in the neighborhood. Flame break. Sylar's still going to get triggered off by the Cold Feet, but support is here from VG.J. You'll lose Sylar, but Freeze slowing down Roger. His rolling boulder still on cooldown. Solo trapped in by the shards, so Roger will die to the Spirit Siphon, and Solo, he's trying to get out of his icy grave. VG.J will stand their ground with all the sticky napalm charges. Solo just cannot outrun this. Fade will bring him down. They'll find the double damage rune as well. And VG.J will start to relieve the pressure which was building up high.
Yeah, these few kills are actually huge. When you're this far behind, any kills that you get just catapult you in terms of levels and farm. They can maybe catch Pasha here. They actually
real
do.
Nice shards. Lasso is available too, so Pasha can't just easily run out of this one. TP support is on the way from VP, and it's Roger! He comes in, he kicks Pasha down. There's snowballing forward. They really want this kill. Still no lasso, he doesn't have mana. He's shot by 10. Roger will die to the Spirit Siphon and attacks to the Death Prophet, while Yang still on the escape. Solo's damage. One more attack may be enough, but the bottle charges from Yang will keep him alive. The Flame Break to create a little bit more space, and he's got it. Yang should be away from this, and if Solo wants to keep going after it, Freeze will be happy to kill him. Spirit Siphon's coming back off cooldown in just a second, but here comes Ramses. The Broodmother is back. The webs are down, and VG.J run under the shrine, put everything down and run. You do not want to be near this Broodmother.
His level 5 A is just running at people, dude. He can do whatever he wants because he knows his friends are going to back him up eventually. Stampede is ready for Centaur, so we could see VP go for an initiation here. No blink yet for Tiny, but he's close. So on the top lane, things look normal, at least. Not so much in the other lanes, but...
The Tiny now has a blink dagger, but it's not even like he can toss the Centaur in before Centaur picks up his own blink dagger to get that stomp they're looking for.
That'd be cool. Definitely a good solution. But he can also just one-shot people. I mean, he's dealing like 700 magic damage with this combo right now.
Smoke Gang from VG.J is going to come a little bit late. Ramsey's just TP'd back to the tier 1 tower away from the webs. The mid lane Solo very much stranded. Level 5 Ancient Apparition running at people will only work when there's maybe an army of spiderlings hovering around. He doesn't escape from it. He's surrounded by 4 heroes, but they find a better target. There's Ramses in mid. Lasso, hold him in position. Spirit Siphon him down. Ramses, he is dropping very low, and he can't attack anybody with insatiable hunger. VG.J perfectly kiting him. And the kills start to come for VG.J and start to repair. Like, it's not just flatlining the damage, it's repairing the damage.
It actually is so effective to have sticky napalm against a Brood in this situation, because just choosing targets when he's surrounded like that is very difficult for him because he's got to change targets constantly. But because he went mid lane and he dominated so hard, he's always going to be out of position. I kind of feel like he should just switch lanes, take the webs to a different place.
No one. He's hunting Yang down the bottom. The Avalanche will connect on all, killing off both the illusions. And he's still got the tree toss. So Yang, one more punch will do it. No one. That Haste Rune really going to work. Freeze wants to help and fight, but Haste Rune is running out. But the Blink Dagger will bring him back behind the tier 1 tower into safety for no one.
Yeah, no one's playing very well right now.
Okay, well, Freeze needs to force it.
They finally get to use an Exorcism at least to try to take a tier 1 tower, and they're going to be able to spot vision with the Sigil here.
They want Pasha to jump. DDC is right in the right position. The Ancient Apparition Ice Blast is coming in. They avalanche toss onto Sylar, so he drops low. Pasha gets the double hoof stomp, but now DDC turns on the ultimate. Pasha and Solo caught inside of this, and they have enough damage. VG.J, Solo will fall. They haven't claimed the tower just yet. No one is waiting for the right time just to pop Freeze as he sits in the trees, and here it comes. Avalanche toss, Lucid Beam, interrupting the swings. They silence and control him! Freeze with the extra damage from the Exorcism and also the life.
That was so
stands his ground.
So well played by VG.J Thunder. They used the Luna with a pair of tangos to cut through the trees, and at the same time that Pasha went in, he also spotted no one, so they end up initiating on separate targets that would have otherwise been a guaranteed dead hero. Perfectly playing that out, and the raindrops as well, and Freeze to make sure that the follow-up from Tiny just ends up feeding him. And now this game's even, except for the whole tower advantage thing that VP is abusing. Their gold is sitting equivalent, and this has got to be a little scary for VP. This kind of reminds me of a Liquid EG, or the third Liquid game from the other day.
You can have giggles all around, but this is still a grand final. VG.J still performed very beautifully, even if Game 1 and Game 2 didn't look like it. They are a top-notch team, and you've now enabled them. You've now brought them closer towards that Dragonlance. Okay, well, we can watch DDC potentially die on the bottom lane.
It's got a nice blast. This is most likely a kill here.
Yeah, Solo gets through the wall, and yeah, okay, they're definitely going to kill him off. But Batrider has the Blink Dagger, the Snowball coming after Ramses. If they can close the distance here, Fade going to Walrus punch him up. There's your lasso, bringing Ramses back in. These are critical kills they need with the Eclipse. The Spylings will tank through most of it. The Ice Blast is coming in. Ramses, he lives on 90 HP. The Flame Break couldn't kill him off, and now Fade's the man on the run. VP bringing supplies in so quickly, and with the Stampede, it's a disengage for the Brood and engage for everybody else.
It was a good snag, but not enough movement speed on Bat to pull him out of position. And they tried to eclipse it as well, but there were so many spiders there to tank up Luna beams. So
run, Sylar. Run. Kick. Oh, he gets him!
No way.
Roger! Blinding it.
My
With
God.
the Blink Hoof Stomp, they'll take out Sylar. And these guys, they're using the Force.
That is such a next level snipe, dude. This is absolutely atypical place to teleport. Kills the creep wave, goes for the teleport just in time, but man, Roger's just a step ahead. So VG.J is going to try to regain some map control in this time period at least. They are forcing VP to run a lot between mid and top lane. Now they're grouped as 4. They've got Exorcism ready, only level 10 on the Death Prophet, as much as she'd love to have a more strong Exorcism. But they can still get a kill here.
Oh, they don't actually have the lasso for Yang, so this will make it difficult, but when Solo walks into them, things become a lot easier. So
Every kill
Ancient
matters.
Apparition gets sniped, and they didn't have to burn the smoke that's on Fade.
They didn't have to burn Lasso either, so... Well, I guess they didn't have it.
Yep, it was down
Even
before
better.
the start.
Once he gets a 4-staff on Batrider, I think things changed a lot. So that's even more reach that they can grab. And they have pretty good map control right now with their wards. They can spot everything in the middle part of the map. There are some Radiant wards, but only one that's in an offensive position. 2, I guess.
So VG.J actually in this game, something we didn't think would really happen. Even if they actually had an experience advantage for a very short span of time. And they're going to try and get it now with the smoke up. Lasso available, Exorcism available. They would love to get the Broodmother, who just found an Invis rune. Detection required. Yang, they actually got him. Falling back the Broodmother. Need to hold in position. The wall will not do it. As now the retreat begins because the rolling boulder. Ice Blast kick from Roger on the money. DDC trying to run out this one, but he'll end up shattering. Fade will be unlucky too. The VG.J, at least they get their cores out of this if we look for the silver lining.
That's a tough moment. If you're the initiator hero there, it feels like I have to take this. This guy's way out of position, but you don't have time to check to see if you have the detection. They're going to try to catch no one. They actually failed the silence here.
Yeah, this will be problematic. No one, however, will still go down. They burn Eclipse from Sylar.
Absolutely worth it. Good usage. I think Yang made the right decision, but what are the chances that there happens to be an Invis rune there and your opponents have no invisibility? Just unfortunate situation there for VG.J, but ultimately, getting the tiny kill is going to make it worth it, I think.
Yep.
Death Prophet opting to go for a Rod of Atos this game. Definitely a weird item for Death Prophet. Almost always they just go for like Solar Crest, Yules into the BKB.
She just changed. She completely switched to a hood.
Okay.
And building into a pipe.
I think that's reasonable as well, just because of the AA being on the enemy team. The Centaur, I think he's realizing...
Bottom lane. Here comes your Ice Blast in. Sylar cannot take the damage, and all these wonderful 17-1 charges are he's going to shatter. He's going to shatter in probably one...
That's close.
Oh, it's like 5 HP.
Very clear.
They turn around. Bottom lane, DDC was down there to C.
Yeah, that was actually 5 HP. five more damage there, and that's a dead hero. Really nicely played to get out, but... the hood, I think, is needed on the Death Prophet. Her HP is not the heaviest. She's gone the magic resistance perk. She's going to go for the pipe. And once she does that, it just really limits what Tiny can do, what Centaur can do. Basically, everybody except for like Broodmother right clicks are going to be heavily negated by this. And any of the amplification that AA's applying with Ice Vortex just becomes not as good when you have magic resistance built up on your hero.
They're grouping up once more. This time, no smoke for VG.J. But at the same time, they've deep-watered so many of the Observer Wards of Virtus Pro, they're a little bit blind on the map. So Radiant will scan, Dire will also scan. Can't tell which one's which, but either way, they both didn't actually trigger. So VG.J get their Observer Ward down up on the top tier 1 tower, and they can just push this top lane and force a fight, if this is what they want. Remember, it was 6 minutes, like 12, 13 minutes ago that Ramses was attacking that mid. The pressure hasn't been able to be applied since then for VP.
Well, both teams playing a little safe right here. Ramsey's got the BKB coming, smoke coming out as well. But neither team has really showed in a moment here. So either checking Roshan, see if that's where VP is at. And I don't know if we saw Vision there or not, but VP is going to move into the Roche pit at this moment.
Yeah, the shards disappeared from it. They just looked. Sigil's on cooldown for another 5 seconds, so it will take time for Fade to bring this down. And with all the scans gone, okay, now they're finally pinging something. The sentries up on the hill, firefight potential from Yang, but it's how long are they going to wait before they come in close? No one's waiting. They're ready to fight. The Avalanche, the whole stun, and the Ice Blast. Perfect synergy from Virtus Pro. Now bring down 3 of VG.J and finish what they started, which is Roshan.
Just perfectly played by VP there. The Shadow Blade gives them the vision on the enemy team, and it allows Pasha to initiate with a stun on 2 heroes. Definitely the place that Centaur is valuable is in those AoE stuns, kind of similar to Sand King. It's harder to land because of the delay, and he does have a lot of magic burst, but it's hard sometimes from the vision. So the Shadow Blade just facilitating everything there, and they pick off the important initiating hero on the enemy team, which is Batrider. So guaranteed ages for them, and now VP has a moderate advantage again.
And VG.J just knew what they had to do the second they got out of that. So, like, Luna not being involved, she's pushing in the top. At least the money is starting to arrive. Sylar is getting closer towards this BKB after having the full Hurricane Pike for distance. Death Prophet TP to the bottom lane almost instantly as well. Trying to finish up this pipe, actually give something to VG.J to fight against this magical pop.
It's still so hard, though. If you don't have a vision advantage and they initiate first, then...
Yeah.
So much less likely that the pipe actually makes a difference. They still have a lot of magic damage on VP's side, so stunning 2 important heroes like that and getting AA follow-up, almost always there's going to be deaths. So they have to... Initiating first is ideally what VG.J has to go for instead, but it's hard to have the map control, especially when you're at a gold disadvantage and when they have Aegis as well. They're shifting over, though. They do see VG.J with some of their wards, so they'll see if they can get a pick off here. AI Splash a little early, expecting him to go for large camp, and yeah, they'll TP.
Sylar's already starting his TP. Roger's kick! Barely missing the Luna. That would have been a critical kill, especially as VP possessed the Aegis currently. It would have been a ticket to push high ground. Or if they force buyback, well, a ticket just to delay Sylar's BKB, which he needs for these fights.
And the only thing that made them get that kill was the abnormal Observer Ward, now dewarded here on the mid. Near the mid lane. So VP has good control in the mid lane, and VG.J Thunder has no vision at all.
Oh, Observer, Centric, they're just on the run. Sylar saw it coming and Hurricane piked away. Roger will get the kick onto the Disruptor. Maybe now they can try and turn Roger. EDC deciding not to glimpse him because mid lane is under attack. Ramsey's with that Desolator and BKB brings the tower down to 211 points. The Spiders try and chip a little bit further down. I mean, they just want to jump up.
The Spiders are a little low here. They could be killed, but Ramsey's being careful. He knows the cooldowns. And VP's just looking for initiations. They have to be so careful on VG.J's side, because if he just does like a blink stun and tosses somebody back, that's almost a guaranteed kill. Well, with that said, though, they can almost always react with the lasso, so no one also has to be careful. But he's also got Grow, so he's got tons of status resistance. That just makes all of those disables last less anyways. So just a game of chicken here for VP. Control the map, go for the easy kills that you can. They would love to go high ground with the Aegis, but it's just so much easier to just poke and prod, not take these scary fights against a Batrider. That's the one big advantage that VG.J Thunder has.
Yep. The ability to just get that Blink Lasso and then just, like, it's Force and Hurricane Pike, which could be used. I say that once Batrider actually finishes his Force stuff. He doesn't have it yet.
Pretty close.
But these will allow, like, VP to be potentially just dragged out of position. They're pretty tanky, but still. This is 23 minutes in.
Mm-hmm. I'd say Luna is approaching her dangerous point for the enemy team at least.
Yep.
Usually she needs, I mean, she kind of makes up for the fact that she doesn't right-click the best in the early game with Eclipse. But once she gets another item, she'll have BKB, and then maybe one past that is where Luna gets really scary. And even with BKB, because there's so much magic damage on VP's side, it's got to be a little scary. Especially if they don't catch her with the initiation. VP definitely has things to be worried about.
I'm liking this from Fade. He's actually farming up the Spiders as they come down the mid. He's almost finished a Blink Dagger on the Tusker. There's going to be critical if Itani is jumping in to try and kill somebody. Fade can just start to like blink in after Snowball save and just try and change the tempo of the engagement. Making it a little bit more unpredictable for Virtus Pro to understand how these fights will play out. And as VG.J have shown after what was the catastrophe early game, their positioning in fights is still superb.
I'm just a little surprised that VP is sitting so many heroes in the mid lane. Maybe they feel like they're going to be more likely to be able to kill the tower, but they're pushing it out enough. And they were doing some split pushing with Bat Rider. VP's not moving across the map to try to counteract that. Just, I feel like they're really trying to make use of this Aegis, and they weren't really able to.
Yep. So they can wait for the next one. The BKB is on the way for no one, so he'll be a lot more protected. Won't worry as much about the Disruptor after this point.
There's a little time left on it, too. I mean, maybe it'll work out here, but...
They need to get rid of that Observer Ward the VG.J is currently under. And here comes the rolling boulder. Quick silence onto the Disruptor. Yang had the cold feet on him, and he hasn't worked out if he wants to get in or out of this one. Exorcism burned by Freeze. The avalanche onto Sylar, but the storm is good. But then with the lasso, they're trying to clip up Ramses and keep him burning. The BKB will give a little bit more life. Finally, the Luna will go down as Pasha jumps on top of DDC, getting the extra control. Rogers is waiting it out, and everyone's just magnetized so hard. Fate's finally going to be killing off one, and maybe they have enough damage. VG.J have sustained, they've gone through the Aegis of the Immortal. Phase TPL will be successful, and that was a lot more than I thought VG.J was going to get from it.
Yeah, it looked pretty bad for them too at the initiation, but the Stampede didn't catch anybody in the follow-up except for Luna being out of position, and the Great Ward allowed them to engage on that. The Ice Blast landed on Luna, that guaranteed her death. She had BKB there. Maybe doesn't go nearly as bad.
They're jumping in. Bat Rider does not
good.
have lasso, but he wants to stop Ramses from getting this bottom tower. Fate's nearby. Here comes your Ice Blast. Yang, he can't get caught by this. The 4-star, he dodges the Ice Blast. DDC, way too much damage. Ramses had the insatiable hunger turned on, ready to fight, and now Disruptor is down for a little bit. Yang is still not ready to fight. But Luna is respawning, and Virtus Pro will not force the issue.
Just takes so much to kill Broodmother in these fights. It has to be like a lasso into an Eclipse, or Death Prophet has to be there up and close, and she did a great job almost getting the kill on the Brood before she fell, but even then it was still only Aegis. Aegis really paying off in that fight. If it turned into a Broodmother kill, very different fight and very different gold swing. And now Brood picks up a Sacred Relic. And I really don't know which way he's going to go with this one. Probably Nullifier, but probably Nullifier.
I don't think like a Radiance 26 minutes in will make the most amount of sense for Ramses.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the
unless
best.
he's trying to stop the Bat Rider from getting any kind of blink. But yeah, there it is. The Nullifier comes up.
It's good for like a chase down kind of a thing, but the Nullifier just allows you to guarantee kills on like Death Prophet, prevent BKBs if you find somebody out of position, prevent Glimmer Capes, Force Staffs. It's kind of like the anti-support item. So for heroes like Disruptor that needs to use items to stay alive in most cases, just shut that down.
Yep. But this is when Tuskar's going to have to play even better. So Fade will have to be there for the Blink Snowball, go for the save, waste that item of the Broodmother, waste their initiation.
It could be good, but it's still so scary because there's always going to be Ice Blast follow-up, there's going to be Centaur jumping in, there's also Earth Spirit. There's a lot of danger.
Well, Sylar's actually going to go for a Butterfly as his next major item. I was wondering if he'd actually think about going in for like just Manta for the pure D push kind of factor.
It's not that great. I mean, it's good for split pushing, not so much about being able to push creep waves by yourself, I guess. And the illusions are easily cleared by all the AoE that your opponents are dealing with. I mean, it would be nice to remove Silence, to remove the Brood passive potentially.
Yep.
But Butterfly is just on top of all else, just makes you very physically survivable while also giving you a lot of damage. So it's a good mix here. If she gets BKB off, she's very unlikely to die, unless she gets bursted low before the BKB.
But that's when Saving Grace will have to be there. And VG.J will look to be the initiators instead. They've got detection this time around. They're going to have the Gem of True Sight. Everyone's grouped up, but I'm not seeing any smoke on anyone right now, so they cannot do this under any kind of cover.
Ooh, and Axe picked up on Centaur.
He's been pushing that for a while.
So now when he presses his ultimate, everyone will be Broodmother on the enemy team. Or on his team, that is. Run over the cliffs, chase down your opponents. Connect Field feels like... How do you land Kinetic Field on like 5 heroes now? They're just going to be all over the place. Like the map is empty.
You wait inside your base for the choke point. That's what you do.
This thing lasts for 4 seconds. Eclipse lasts for 6 seconds. You can stop Eclipse damage. You can stop anybody that's in trouble. Keep them more resistant to damage.
I love that from Ramses just then. He so he had his big group wall. They jump in. No one got the BKB off. There's just snowball protection we're talking about, but the double hop stop. Pasha, he got the backlines with the Ice Blast too. VG.J, they were waiting for the perfect fight. This is not it. Luna dies right in front of her own tier 3 tower. Freeze, he's on the backside trying to work with Yang. A 4-star away won't happen. The spawn spiderlings reach him, and now Freeze will go down to VG.J. are all dead, and you know where VP are going. Into the mid lane. Buybacks are coming. It's all or nothing.
They got to
The
defend
final
here.
game.
They don't have Exorcism, so it's going to be very difficult to defend, but maybe Tusk can make a difference here. Killing spiders is the first part, killing the creeps. Let the tower hit the Broodmother or the other heroes, but the tower is not long for this world.
Yep, it's already gone. Ramses with that initiation can work. Right on top, there's Fade. Fantastic save, buys some space. They force stop him up, but with that bloody amplified urn, it's just impossible to get back out again. The Spirit Vessel just makes it impossible.
He can dispel with Yules, so he ends up staying alive, but that was very dangerous.
The melee Rax is gone. So huge amount of buybacks forced out of VG.J. The economic advantage will now shoot through the roof, and we'll get to see that initiation once more. So no one got in, and then this hoof stomp into the back line. There was just no support that could come.
So lost way too much HP at the beginning of the fight. Ultimately, it was VP that gets to initiate first. And all their damage dealers, with the exception of the Death Prophet, got picked off. Did Solo even live too? Okay,
No.
he does end up dying at least, but at that point, way too much damage. He gets stunned by Cold Feet, and that is just a dead Death Prophet. So VG.J Thunder is pretty much on the edge right here. If they die right now, with these buybacks previously being used, that's got to guarantee all the Raxes.
This is the only choice now for VG.J. Firefly will go on cooldown. They got an illusion rune into the bottle of Yang. So scouting Roshan is possible. And we'll see how Virtus.pro want to react. For the moment, they're hiding under the cover of the smoke, thanks to the fact that Observer Ward of the Dire side got attacked by the Radiant Creep. VG.J knows that something is a little bit suspect.
They did get the D-wards, are placing sentries everywhere to try to make sure there weren't wards. That's why they lost the last fight. An Observer Ward in a place they hadn't spotted yet. So now they're still grouped as 5. They know a team fight is the only way to get back into this, the only way to not get outganked.
Solo just burned his Ice Blast, looking for a good target. So they won't have that for the next 30 seconds, so a small window
These little
for
spiders,
some
dude.
kind of advantage. What else can Yang get? Like, Yang is watching, but he's got Firefly up, takes to the air. They just try and get rid of the spiders, but there's your jump in, a nice 4-star away. Yang avoiding the initiation of Virtus.pro, but no one just turns back into the fight. The Avalanche toss, where are these BKBs? It won't really matter because you got so much damage from Virtus.pro. They are immune, they are warriors, and they're looking to bring down Freeze. He's a big one to claim. No immunity left anymore. They just keep pumping into him. No one's got the distance, even with the tree toss. They can't get that, and GG, well played. Virtus.pro claim yet another major title, and they did it in more than convincing fashion. It was a slaughter in this grand final.
And honestly, this didn't look that different from the previous major, where they absolutely trounced Vici Gaming. They ended up winning that one only 3-1, but this one was even more one-sided somehow. Like, VP looked absolutely unstoppable right now.
Yeah, they really do. This is a fantastic team, such depth, such quality of the entire team. You do wonder, like, how does anyone beat these guys? They can draft anything. They can play any tempo.
They can do cheesy Broodmother stuff if needed, and it doesn't even look cheesy. It just looked easy.
It does. It does. The easiest thing for him is to pick up the trophy as well. So this awesome crowd here in Bucharest, they can actually greet their PGL Dota Major champions. Let's give a huge round, guys. Virtus.pro, they are your champions! One more time, it's Virtus.pro.
Well done, gentlemen. Another major in the bag. Whew. Roger, This team's never lost a major with you, buddy. Give it up for Roger. 100% major win rate. Good stuff. You gonna keep doing it? Next major, one as well?
Yes.
Yes! All right. Thank you so much, sir. Oh my God. Aren't you in charge of all of this? This is all you, baby. Give a word out there to the VP fans. Give it up for this guy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Please. Ramses. Look at you, bro. What an incredible game. You dominated all the teams. That was one of the fastest finals I've ever seen. Complete destruction. Any words to say to everybody that competed here against you guys? Because most of them got stomped.
Thanks to everyone for cheering for us.
All right, thank you, sir. No! You were laughing the entire time in all of your games. It looks like this was easy for you. Did you have a good time? Was this a fun experience?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah? And? Are we gonna see? Well, I think we were all laughing along there with you. What was so funny, dude? All these games, always laughing.
Just their player style. It was funny for us. That's all.
Oh. And here we go. The god, the captain of them all. Sir, tell me about your team. How you feeling right now? You got to be proud of these guys. You have any words to say to your fans out there? This has been a long time coming. You're close to the Big Four.
Yeah, I'm very proud of my team, and I'm proud that I'm playing with these 4 guys. That's amazing.
All right, thank you, sir. Salute. And of course, Mr. Pacha, the man with the trophy. Sir, the world wants to know, what is next for Virtus.pro?
Virtus.pro? DEC, I guess. Why not?
And is that going to be big number 4?
Number 4? I don't know. We'll try to win everything, I hope.
I think they're going to want to win everything, huh?
А я и говорю, ну, да.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, hold that trophy up high. Let's give it out one more time for your 3-time major champions, Virtus.pro! Woo! What a fantastic series, Paul. What a great game. Let's head on back to that panel and talk a little bit about it. Gentlemen, the trophy is yours. Thank you.
There we go then, another trophy on the mantelpiece of Virtus.pro. 3 of the 4 majors this season have gone to the boys in white, orange and black. And boy, did they deserve it. An absolute trouncing in the grand final for our unfortunate runners-up, VG.J Thunder, who can take some solace away from this to the fact that they have moved up into 6th place on the Dota Professional Circuit. But it was all about one team in the end, wasn't it? Should we have ever doubted it after the first day, Cap, when they went down to Optic Gaming? Did we look at that a bit too early and go, woof, maybe they are invincible?
No, absolutely not. I think, again, that one game against Optic Gaming, you saw they were actually just doing fine until like the last 5 minutes. They themselves even talked about the game and said, you know, we just kind of like tilted. We weren't really playing well together. We weren't prepared at all. So, you know, that happens sometimes in a best of 1. But when it comes down to it, Virtus.pro have shown that they go through so many of these majors. They go through so many of these series. They are a fantastic best of 3 and best of 5 team to face up against because they have so many heroes to be able to lock away in their draft and pull it out when the time is necessary, including a critical Broodmother here.
They can do it all, Jack.
Solid, precise, decisive, versatile. So many things to describe this team. It really feels like a lot of times they are their own worst enemy. And they really brought it here in these finals. It just feels like so hard to beat them. They can play this kind of standard meta style and execute it very well. They played decisively on a wide range of heroes. Roger brings a different pool that has a lot of game-changing impact. It's just really hard to deal with this team. What do you want to take away from them? Then they have certain pocket picks, like the Brute that just comes out in the perfect situation and just takes over games. It's just really hard to beat this team.
They really enjoyed themselves in that booth.
Yeah, apparently.
Every time we cut back to them, they were chuckling, and apparently it was something to do with VG's style. I don't know, what's that all about?
Not just them. He asked them overall, what are you laughing about? He's like, the enemy team's play styles, man.
Yeah.
It's just funny to them. And I got to say, it looks pretty funny to me when Virtus.pro is taking them on. They just seem like children against giants oftentimes.
Yeah,
no answer to this Brood. When their lanes get run over, it's just really hard for them to play. And going back to that major scorecard, this is their 3rd. They are 1 game away and 1 2-0 series away from being the leaders over OG. If that Kiev final goes a little bit differently, so this, you know, they're really picking up steam right now at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking, it seems since January, Cap, about who the best team in the world is. I think we were quite settled on the top 3 being Secret, Liquid and Virtus.pro. Have Virtus.pro in the last few weeks, have they kind of edged ahead of Secret and Liquid, do you think?
I think they definitely edged ahead of Secret. Against Liquid, it's still a big question mark for me. I would love to be able to see more and more series. After all, I think the score between them is
5-5. It was 5-5 yesterday.
Wow.
But I think when Virtus.pro won that last game, I think they just went ahead 6-5. It's very close.
And that's exactly how I feel about them, is that maybe right now they're slightly ahead of Liquid, but I could just as easily see that in the tournaments coming up in the future that maybe Liquid is the one who gets the edge. So I really do feel like they're kind of neck and neck for that first place slot, but it also all comes down to TI as well. After all, Virtus.pro, they have done this before. They did this last year. They were looking really good in some tournaments heading into it, so they just got to make sure they maintain their form and they don't peak too early.
Pasha made the point at the end, what's next, Flag said, and he said win more tournaments. But the thing is right now, I don't know how you feel about this, but I look at the team and go, surely now they back off a little bit because they're at TI, right? With 10 tournaments to go in the Dota professional circuit, they are guaranteed a spot at the international. Now, I'd imagine with that weight off their shoulders, they might even play better now.
Maybe. I mean, it does look like Virtus.pro is a team that plays with very little cares oftentimes. We saw the behind the scenes with them at Kiev, and yeah, there was some flames back and forth, but we also saw the way that they interact with each other. It seems to be very friendly, very camaraderie, and there seems to be just a very carefree to a lot of their play style. And it really shows when they play around each other. You see these fun little moments that they have together. It just seems like they are owning everyone and having a blast doing it.
Yeah, it seems to have improved since they've had Roger there as well. And what a couple of performances this young man's had. Jack, he's played in 2 majors with Virtus.pro and he's won 2.
Yeah, again, both with his hero pool opening things up, a lot of different options, and then as Cap was talking about, there's just like a fearlessness that they play with. When you have to execute these very precise maneuvers in these team fights or saves, like they don't seem to have any hesitation at all. And in the past, that might have been something that come back to hurt them if they outplayed themselves, got too aggressive, exposed themselves a little bit. But they're also now under control, and when once that is in place, this is truly just a scary team to deal with.
Yeah, Jack, if you were saying that it's a lot of these drafts, a lot of these matchups came down to who blinked first. Not only did VP not blink, but they also gave a nice little devil-may-care smile while they were doing it. They just stared down every single one of their opponents and were fearless in their approach.
I mean, what you both said, and I already had a feeling this anyways, does it not feel like they're not the kind of team that would then go, right, we've qualified for TI, let's plan this out, let's not do some tournaments and let's play it quite... They're not that kind of team, are they? They're just a go-with-the-flow kind of team.
Hey, maybe you said the Chinese meme about VP when it comes to ESL ones. It's sort of their cup, right? Maybe that's going to be all the majors.
Salary Cup.
Yeah, maybe it's going to be VP. They're all VP salary cups now.
I mean, we could look back in a few months from now and go, wow, they've won 8 majors.
Yeah,
that would be insane, wouldn't it?
And it does seem like they're in that kind of form.
It does. Yeah, they're hard to beat right now, and they've proved that with 2 consecutive major championships. The first team to do it back-to-back since OG, and Virtus.pro's final scoreboard on your screen right now, which just confirms what we thought before. There is a sad part of this, to that scoreboard. No one died 4 times. I was hoping he would go like the entire grand finals without dying. That would have been incredible, wouldn't it?
Yes, it certainly would have. I mean, just having 2 of the games in a grand finals on a main stage is already impressive enough. But I think that everybody else really stepped up there. Roger just had this insane score on Earth Spirit. I think Pasha had a really cool Centaur War Runner. I think that pick was really interesting idea against the Death Prophet. Not a big fan of Luna pickup into it anyway, but he just looked fantastic, and you got to say, Ramsey's Broodmother, what a space creator that one is.
They don't lose many of those games. They did lose to Vici, of course, in Katowice, but they don't lose many Brood games, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And this one wasn't going to be it.
It's almost like they read that VG.J were still going to stick with their comfort picks because their heroes just punished all of the lanes. You would think that the Bat is the only hero that really has a chance against this Broodmother, but you saw how that matchup went. It's just you have to commit too hard to even be able to stop the Broodlings, and it's usually not going to happen with good Spider Micro. And then, of course, the Luna, being a squishy hero top, just got run at, didn't have much of a good time in lane, took way too long to catch up. And this game was, Ramses was under the shadow of the Tier 3 tower about 8 minutes in. So
he was. Yeah, that was a difficult game for VG.J. But let's just talk about VG.J Thunder and give them some props as well, because it has been a great run. Some will say the format suited them, but big deal, whatever. You've made a grand final at a major, that's a great achievement, and some really good points, Cap, too.
Yeah, certainly. I think kind of similar to VG Gaming is that they had their certain play style and they looked really good while they were running it. I think they just lack a little bit of diversity when it comes to their hero pool compared to VG Gaming. VG Gaming just looked stronger at what they were good at, and they had a little bit of versatility in there too. So VG.J Thunder, hey, a lot more season to go, so this is a good showing from them. I hope to be able to see them broaden their hero pool even more, see more diverse strategies come from them, because all of those players are quite strong and they've got a great leader in DDC.
Absolutely. Have we got a third edge to the Chinese attack, do you think, now with Vici and Nubi? Have VG.J joined them?
Yeah, it's easy to take this series and kind of think, oh, maybe they had a bit of an easier road. But clearly when they get the heroes that they want, when the game suits their style, they can be very strong. They can beat the other elite teams as well. The question, like Cap said, is can they expand beyond that? I think the teams that they have to start aiming at and looking for are these top teams, are these Liquids and VPs that have a lot of different ways of abusing lanes and winning from that. They need to start experimenting more with those. But that said, they have to worry so much about the domestic gauntlet as well. They still have to keep beating other Chinese teams to even make it to some of these tournaments. Although this might make it easier to invite them.
Yeah, maybe they'll get a few invites after this. Thank you very much, gents. That is it from the Bucharest Major. It's been 7 days of fantastic Dota 2, just as you'd come to expect from a major, and it has ended on a bit of a damp squib, frankly. But take nothing away, because you know what? When we look at these matches and we go, boring final, but let's take the positives this time round. Virtus.pro were absolutely unbelievable. They have become triple major champions. They are just one behind the magnificent OG, and there's still 5 more majors to go this season. Are we going to see them overtake OG on that list? They're already qualified for the international as well. It has been a fantastic 7 days for those boys in orange, black and white. But that's it from us here at the Bucharest Major. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for coming down to the Polygon Hall here in Romania as well. And tune in next time for more Dota 2 action.